Hey guys, welcome to this episode of The Rachel Cruze Show. All right, your 20s, they can be a stressful time because you're figuring a lot of life out during that decade of your life. But the important thing is to get some good money habits in place early on because it makes the rest of your life so much easier. So we're going to talk through some money habits to develop before you're 30. And if you're already past your 20s, just stay because let's be honest, they're good money habits for us all to have, and it's never too late to start. All right, here are some habits to start working on. Living within your means. That's it. Yep, there's like this Instagram reel sound going around. It's like, my parents always ask, how do I afford it? How do I afford it? And I don't. Or it's like some kind of joke, and I'm like, oh man. And so listen, if you get in the habit of just saying, hey, I'm gonna live below what I make. I'm not gonna spend more than I make. That one little habit alone is going to help you go so far with your money. Also, just educating yourself. I think there's a level of humility to say, hey, you don't have all the answers. And guess what? I don't have all the answers. I am still learning. So if there's areas of money that you don't understand, educate yourself, read books, listen to podcasts, and actually look at the people you're getting the information from to see, okay, are they credible? You know, the value system at which they operate, do I agree with that? And then you can be able to say, okay, is this good, sound advice? And ask around, but educate yourself. Also, be budgeting. Budgeting is one of the most powerful ways for you to control your money. It is just so huge to live on purpose, and that's what a budget does. Also, be in the habit of having an emergency fund, having money set aside that is saved. When life happens, you have the money. And just having that there's something about having money in the bank that, again, it's not just in your checking account. You're not going to use it. It's not to even save up for a car or a vacation. It is just there for your just in case parts of life. There's something to detach yourself from it, to think, okay, it's not even there, and just forgetting it's there. And then when something comes up and you actually need it, you can tap into it. But having it there and letting that be a habit of your financial life is huge. Also, learning what your debt situation is. There's a lot of people that denial just feels great, and living with your head in the sand is the way it goes. But listen, if you want to really get a strong financial foundation under you early on, you have to know where you're at. And that means looking at your debt. So whether it's student loans and credit cards, or if you took out a car loan, map it all out and actually write it out and say, okay, where am I at when it comes to debt? Because that's going to help you start paying it off when you know what you have. Also, be in the habit of thinking long-term. So many people make really bad financial decisions because they're only looking at the short term. They're not looking 10, 15, even 20 years out to say, hey, what's going to happen down the road if I don't fund retirement? Or if I just continue to live paycheck to paycheck and don't have any margin? It feels good right in the moment, but you think long-term, what is that going to do to me long-term? So be thinking and looking further out, because it's so easy, again, just to think, okay, what's due this week, or what do I need to do this week? But think long-term. Okay, we're gonna take a quick break so I can tell you about our sponsor. So you're doing all the right things, but this economy is busting your budget. But did you know that there's a budget-friendly solution to the rising healthcare costs? Well, there is, and it's through Christian Healthcare Ministries, America's longest-serving health cost-sharing ministry. Visit chministries.org/Rachel to learn more. Or another great habit, mentioned it earlier, but it's true, saving for retirement. This is going to help you think long-term. But the earlier you start saving and putting money away in your Roth IRA or 401k or 403b, all of those retirement vehicles when it comes to investing, it's huge. Compound interest is your friend. And the earlier you start, the better off you're going to be. But I want you out of debt and having a fully funded emergency fund before you do that. Also, be in the habit of checking your bank account every day. Yeah, every day. Look at it. And especially if your bank account is tied to your budget, like every dollar, you're going to be checking it and you're just going to stay on top of it. And that way, life is not overwhelming. You know what's going out, you know what's coming in on when you get a paycheck, and you just are in the rhythm of checking your bank account. It's amazing, again, how people don't look at it and they'd rather not because they don't want to see it. But listen, be in the habit of looking. Also, pay your bills on time. Don't pay late fees or get your lights cut off because you're not organized. You may have to get a schedule to say, okay, what bill is due when, and get in the habit of doing that, because once you do it, it feels like a lot of work on the front end, but it makes life so much easier. Also, learn to negotiate. There's a lot of things you're going to be buying, even large purchases like a car or a house, and you can negotiate. And so you get rejected sometimes when you do this, which is fine. You get told no, and that's okay. You're going to survive. But it's amazing how much money you can save when this is a part of your rhythm. Next is to look out for comparison traps. So I think being in your 20s is always fascinating because up until this point in life, you have been the same pace as everyone else. You've gone to elementary school together and middle school and high school. And sure, in high school, some people were in honors classes or AP. But basically, y'all are all doing the same thing. And then, if you graduate, and most of, people are either going to college or getting a job. But especially after that 4 years after high school, when people graduate from college, suddenly everyone's on a different playing field. Some people got a really great high-paying job and they moved cities, or some people, are like, oh no, I got to work 3 jobs just to keep up. Some people move back home. Some people get their own place. Some people get married. I mean, there's so much change that occurs, especially after those college years. And you just cannot let other people's lives and their stories playing out make you become insecure and think, oh gosh, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. So listen, quit the comparison game. Just be excited for what people are doing, but focus on you. Also, if I can just encourage you, just be in your 20s. Be in your 20s, okay? And again, it's easy to compare your life, especially if people are doing better or they're a few years ahead of you. But just remember, you're in your 20s. And when you're in your 30s, you're in your 30s. And you just be where you're at in life. Just be present because you're still going to be in a point of sacrifice in your job to move up in your career. Sacrifice maybe because you're going to be paying off debt. But remember, you're not 50 years old. You're in your 20s. So just be okay with that. Okay, I want to know from you guys, is there a money habit that you wish you learned before the age of 30? If so, leave the comment below. And I think this stuff is just so fascinating and so great. So if you have someone that you know that's in their 20s and you just want to give them a little bit of encouragement, send them this video so they can really get on the right track when it comes to their money habits early on. Because the earlier you do all of this stuff, the better off you're going to be. So remember to always take control of your money and create a life you love.